2 straight days of that glorious intro. Folks, Fed Deb Redemption is back. Emphasis on the redemption part. We're on the heels of a historic Raw that I believe drew an estimate of 9 million people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, SummerSlam's in the books. The critics loved it. The fans loved it. It is a special time to be with the World Wrestling Federation after some shaky years, some difficult times. But we're here. We're here to talk about WWE. I have an expert panel as always. My regular cohort on this project, Bobby Two Shoes, Robert O'Neill. How you doing tonight, pal?
I'm doing well, man. It's nice to be back. I was trying to think of the last time we did one of these, like a non-pay-per-view preview version, and it's been a while, but hopefully it can be a regular thing again going forward.
I believe it was the 90s, wasn't it, Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1999, I think, was when Russo left. Monty, you are joining us tonight. You may be a regular on this program, which I know pops you very much. How you doing tonight, pal?
I'm good, Women's wrestling's back in the United States after many years of, some rough waters. We finally, it looks like we ran the up. So I've honestly been buzzing about it all day. I'm doing a bit kind of, but it has actually, it's gassed me, to be honest. So
yeah, some of the stuff I think people are a little carried away. The woman stuff, I'm like definitely carried away myself.
100%. I'll come.
Yeah, I've got myself in a dangerous headspace with this stuff. Like, I think it's honestly some of the most exciting stuff I've seen on wrestling TV in a while. Manny's in the chat and says, "Look who's here, number one Fed stan Monty," which feels like lashing out.
He knows the vibes.
Yeah, how's the old group chat been since I left? It feels like it really must have heated up considering all that's happened.
Bro. There's been a lot of even Manny's coming around. I think we're working on it. I believe Manny may have watched AJ versus Ciampa last night. He was tempted at least. He was at least tempted. So winning him over. Me and Hollywood have done some crazy work in that group chat. We've had a lot of shoot. No, we're back.
Manny saw that rampage rating. He said, "I need to get off this sinking ship, bro. Tide has turned." All right, folks. In all seriousness, we do have some fun topics to discuss. This is going to be a different to the usual. Usually with Fed Deb, we do last week and then the week ahead, and that will generally be what we do moving forward. But this is a special time, and there are kind of these big picture conversations that are actually, for once, in this space, worthwhile. Rob, Bob, you kind of said this to me. Elaborate on that, because I know you and I, we often will avoid the kind of overly long-term stuff, but this feels like the time, right?
Yeah, because a big hang-up for this show was like there's no use discussing the big picture stuff because they're just going to change it in a couple months anyway. And, it seems like, and I don't know for sure, but it seems like we're going to have some more continuity. And, it's actually worth getting invested and being optimistic that, you can watch something without it just getting taken out for no reason because, Vince decided it's bad now.
Monty, how much of your increased optimism is rooted in that? The idea that, like, they might plan things and, like, pencil things in for future pay-per-views rather than just sort of turning it on Monday and going, well, shit, let's create some wrestling.
It's nice to know that the biggest promotion in the world is no longer run by a senile man in his 70s. Mm-hmm. So, however you want to dress that up, like the example you just gave, or many other things, it's an exciting time.
It is. There's definitely, like, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but someone who talks about wrestling as often as I do, I'm sure you guys get what I mean. Like, I'm having to, like, retrain my brain on WWE stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, things that I instinctively would be like, oh, no, that would be a bad idea because Vince this or Vince that. It's like, oh, well, that actually could work fine now. Even happened on Sunday. The great Connor Casey joined us and asked about Gresham to WWE. And to be clear, I don't think that's happening. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. But the fact that I even, like, thought about it was like on the air, I was like piecing this together in my head of like, maybe, I don't know, man. It's a different thing, altogether. So it'll be interesting. We will be discussing it obviously week to week, but let's get into the specifics of this particular week. Raw last night got a lot of praise. I think rightfully so. Again, I think, there are some things that are worth just being a little bit careful on. I'm reining in slightly. But the stuff that I am bullish on is where we'll start, which is the women. We open with Becky. There was the attack backstage. We went to Alexa and Asuka. There was another attack. We set up a match. We went into this big brawl that got a big reaction from a crowd that did not react much to a lot of things.
Mhm.
Bobby, thoughts on what was a huge night for the Raw women, and then we'll kind of get into the individual, specific pieces of it.
Yeah, I liked how it was presented. It really made Bailey's group seem like a big deal, and just having the other two come out and even the odds is good stuff. I wish both of the matches didn't have basically the same finish, but
yeah,
ultimately, in the context of the story, that's fine. We're going to get those combinations of matches
Mhm.
quite a bit in the next couple weeks, I think, and basically all the combinations of singles matches are good. Yeah, it was just good stuff. It was nice having, there was a thread kind of through the entire evening.
Which is like increasingly distant from wrestling TV these days, right? Like, we just don't see that very much anymore, and I get it. But it was nice to have that back. Monty, what do you think of the kind of presentation we got here with the first 2 hours almost being anchored by this whole angle?
Yeah, pretty much the theme of the show going throughout, and I love that. It felt like a statement, just like the SummerSlam debuts. Women's wrestling forever. Bailey Gunn was the theme throughout the show. Every angle pretty much hit. The disqualifications, obviously, they kind of leave a weird taste in your mouth these days because of how much they've been overused in the past. But as Bobby said, in the context of this story, with I'm not going to call them Control, I'm calling them Bailey Gunn, but with Bailey Gunn interrupting both the matches, it kind of made sense, because it was like they're taking over the show, blah blah blah. Becky Lynch's promo at the start was great.
Yes,
refreshing considering the heel shtick that we've got used to for the past few months.
For sure.
Bianca's a megastar. And it's just good to see women's wrestling being threaded and being the main story of the show, to be honest. I loved it.
We all have been pleading for that too, right, with Raw, because they're without Cody and they're without Randy. And listen, I love Bobby Lashley, but we were very bullish in like May, June time on them building around the women. And they kind of did in the Money in the Bank build because they were able to just do those matchups.
They did, to be fair.
But this was different, right? This had a hook to it. It's very, very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I want to quickly stop on the DQ thing because I had an interesting, I was kind of talking about this on the Burt earlier. I didn't get into it much because Jay Shell and I were talking about Jeff Jarrett, but I'm really intrigued by the DQ part of this, which I think is going to become like a major debate. How much do DQs on TV bother you, Bob?
Not a ton. I mean, I just, it was just kind of back to back almost with the women's matches. It just bothered me a little bit, but like not a ton overall. Like I didn't really expect Io and Bianca to have a clean finish, and so it kind of is what it is. Like if you don't do it, if you don't overdo it, it's fine. But just doing it twice just kind of rubbed me the wrong. But it's such a minor thing. Like the overall angle was so good.
To be clear, I wasn't trying to frame you. I genuinely, because it's interesting. Everyone's different. Monty, where do you stand on DQs on TV?
Same as I do with pretty much most angles, to be honest. Everything's case by case. It depends on the context it's happening in. So, like, for example, last night, like I was just saying earlier, like, because it was kind of like Bailey's group taking over the show and fucking up like every women's segment, it would make sense for them to fuck up the two matches. You know what I mean? So, like I said, everything's case by case, and context matters, of course, but if it has been overdone in recent years, especially in WWE, so I get why some people are so strongly against it whenever it happens, and when it does happen, even if it's not a terrible DQ, it's kind of like, oh, here we go again, roll your eyes sort of thing. So I do get people's like impatience with it, but for me personally, it's definitely a case by case thing.
I thought for this particular week, it's hard because I definitely agree with the sentiment. They've done so many of them, people roll their eyes. It's just the truth. But I think they actually booked it about perfectly.
Yeah,
I don't think it would have made sense for Io or Dakota to wrestle with someone else this week. I think in the coming weeks you're probably gonna get Alexa, Dakota, and Asuka and Io would be my guess. And I think the Hills will win both of those matches. They'll probably, sprinkle a little Bailey interference here or there, or do some, but that's fine. They're Hills. That's no sweat at all. So in that sense, I think they'll be able to kind of get through that part of it. it will be challenging keeping everyone strong. The vibe that I think they're going for in terms of this particular matchup is like when the Shield came in and would work like just baby faces, and they would not even be paired baby faces, just be like three guys that have done shit in the promotion. I had to mention this to you, Monty, by text, but when Asuka and Alexa were wrestling, Jimmy Smith was talking about how like he's like surefire Hall of Famers. And they're like absolutely going to make a big deal out of like Io and Dakota getting wins over those surefire Hall of Famers. And that's good wrestling. That's like how it should be done. You know, you bring people up, and man, there ain't two better people to bring up than Io and Dakota, who are obviously like two of the top talents. So I'm really excited about it. I am intrigued where you guys stand in terms of the pacing of this angle. Like, Bob, what do you think? How do you think it's going to kind of be mapped out? Are we going to get singles matches to build to a trios? We're going to get the trios very soon, and then we splinter off into different matches. What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of feel like the 6-woman tag should be a Clash of the Castle, and then you just kind of do singles matches along the way. I don't think you need to do Bayley and Bianca yet. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. Yeah, I think you can get away with it because it's so loaded on both sides too. Like, and I think in the UK they're gonna love that too, just because of who's in it. They love all those people. I mean, everyone loves all 6 of them, really. So yeah, it's a pay-per-view caliber match, and it's like when they did Backlash when they had the 6-man tag as the main event. It's kind of like that.
I like it. Monty, what do you think? Co-signing Bobby's take on this one?
Yeah, pretty much. I can see the the 6-woman tag being on the next big show. Then you kind of do the singles matches. You weave them out throughout the build. Do a few angles, probably a few more DQs to come. To be honest, over the course of this feud, wouldn't be surprising. It just depends how to do them. Depends on more reaction to them. So yeah, man, it's you've got so much star power and so much like genuinely good talent that there's a lot of exciting matchups. You know what I mean? Like even
for sure,
all of them, literally every single pairing.
I mean, Dakota and Io, like because they're fresh, especially on the main roster, they can wrestle all 3 baby faces, and it's compelling TV. It's
Alexa's
really
an interesting one.
She is. I hope the way I'm imagining the angle, the way I see Alexa's value is that she can give them some promo. Because like we all like what they've got here, but if you actually look at the pieces, they may need Alexa's promo. Like, because you want to have, if you're going to do this to be like a big build and you're going to do a trios match as a big match, you need some spicy, edgy promos. Some shit where people look down the camera and get a little bit nasty and a little bit like. I don't think that's necessarily on the table elsewhere. The real money with Alexa in the program is making it very clear that she is not to be trusted in this scenario. That's where it really would get good. And I kind of, I text you this earlier, Monty, but I was talking about with Jay Shell. I'm really into the idea of like teasing that Alexa is going to turn and fucking Asuka joins Control. Like, I think that'd be so, because I think that would honestly be a cool role for Asuka too. And it would surprise people because Alexa's such an obvious turn. It is worth noting, of course, that they may turn neither because they have like 4 baby faces, but
yeah, that's always worth considering. A bit of balance on the roster.
It's interesting, but what do you think about the kind of potential roles of Asuka and Alexa, who are obviously there to be, again, they're big names for Control to take down, but the different kind of way they can weave them in and out of this story? What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah, I think you could turn one of them, or you could just kind of keep them as they are and have Bayley, add someone from NXT. There's plenty of people, she'd like to bring up and work with there. And then, the babyface side, you can maybe add like
Becky will be back eventually.
Yeah, Becky when she's back. Tegan, just to get the pop in Cardiff, if that's a thing that you could do. I think she'd be a good fit there. It's just a lot of options to play with. It's pretty cool.
Jack's pitch for Control was Candice LeRae. That was Jack Crosby's pitch.
That's a good one too.
And I thought that was pretty fucking cool. Monty, anything on that front in terms of the potential shenanigans of a
any sort of heel turn and big angle within this feud, which is going to be a lot of those. I'd love either way, to be honest. I think I lean towards Alexa because I think it just kind of Alexa, me and you have spoke about it a few times now, and I'm sure Bobby's definitely more than aware of it. Alexa in her current character, babyface, just happy-go-lucky Alexa. She seems pretty bored with it a little bit. I don't ever want to question people's motivation, but she's pretty much said as much on our podcast and interviews, so I think it's pretty fair to make that sort of assumption. Then, we had that promo last week. She looked dead down the camera and she cut kind of like a
that's the shit I want, bro.
Old school. Yeah, that's what I mean. So the Alexa is a heel. I think that's just kind of where you need to eventually get to, whether that's now in this angle or the storyline after. Obviously, it's always possible that she probably was going to turn heel, and Becky got injured and needed someone to fill in, and like you said, someone who could talk, etc., etc. So it's interesting. Asuka as a heel, obviously, we haven't seen that. We've seen it in WWE at all.
Well, they did the Kabuki run was, believe it or not, was heel.
Yeah, that's not wow.
But it's difficult because no one really boos Asuka. But yeah, that was a thing.
Especially when you put Kyrie next to her.
Yeah, that was weird that they were healed. Yeah. They did a double turn with Bliss Cross, right?
Too wholesome, bro.
Do you remember that? They did a fucking double turn, bro. They did the miss to beat Nikki. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting. I love all the talent involved. The main thing for me is I'm just so happy for Dakota Kai. Like, I just genuinely, I'm in the world of Dakota Kai. I'm so happy for her to be in the spot. Like a week ago, she was like waiting for some different stuff to come into play, and fucking, she's now out there doing, as I said on Twitter, Terry Funk KO cells on an Alexa Bliss punch, which is one of the most incredible pieces of performance I've seen in time. So it was good shit. I liked it very, very much. All right, anything else on the tremendous women's division business that got me very fired up at 3 a.m? Anything else on that front?
I think I was saying it to you earlier, but I really genuinely love the fact, and I'll call it a fact because that's just how I see it. To be honest, that Triple H's first major statement since being in charge of creative is women's wrestling.
It's his thing, bro. It's his thing.
I'm telling you, and like I said, women's wrestling in the US, it's kind of been, neither here or there. Obviously, there was.
Remember the pod you did?
That's what I was going to bring it up. Yeah, me, Josh, and Lovely, we went through Impact, WWE, and AEW, and we kind of talked about literally how they booked every single woman and how they presented them and what we'd like to see them doing more. And we was talking about WWE, and there was kind of this thing where it was like there was a theme throughout WWE where it's like they do feature the women, but you can tell that they just didn't quite get certain women. I'm sure Io and Dakota probably both fit into that bracket. So, it's just really exciting to see Triple H, who's someone who has a track record of doing right by women's wrestling. And, the Dakota thing was really something because obviously she wasn't with the company. And like you said, she was waiting for other things to come through and play out for her. And, Triple H was like, "No, that's my girl."
It was pretty crazy, bro.
And obviously now we've got the Sasha Naomi news starting to just creep out, and that hasn't been debunked by the people you may have thought it might have been debunked by, even though it's not from one of the more original sources that we used to.
That's happening, right?
Yeah, I was saying to my girlfriend, if they were on the fence before the past 4 days, like it's a wrap now. Like, if they were kind of undecided before SummerSlam, like it's a wrap now. Like, come on.
Look, man, I've been very consistent on this, and we all have. If you go back and watch how I covered NXT on USA Network, I thought it was a very flawed show. I thought it relied on in-ring in a way that wasn't sustainable, and I think this Monday Night Raw may end up having the same problem. Okay, he is not a great booker, but the main thing that we all kept saying was he isn't Vince. The act we're currently talking about that Bayley is leading, this faction, was pitched to Vince.
Yeah.
It meant nothing to Vince. He didn't understand Io Shirai or Dakota Kai. Just by getting out of your own way and saying, yes, we should do that idea, you immediately make the show better. You see what I'm saying? So in that sense, it's like, this always inevitable to me. Like a week ago, we did an episode of Bert, and there was like debate about whether he would sign people, and he's like, he's going to just do that. This is like inevitable. But I agree with you. He's pretty prolific when it comes to women. I mean, the NXT USA era was certainly featured women strong. I think Raw's obviously going to do that too. Bobby, anything else on the women's division front for Raw?
No, I don't think so. I like Rhea's involvement, and we can get into that a little bit later, I guess. But I still like her with Judgment Day. I think she's kind of the strong point of the group. I hope after Clash at the Castle, maybe they retool it a little bit, because I think she'd fit very nicely in this kind of main women's feud as well. But we'll see.
Yeah, Rhea's she's a major player. Like seriously.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it'll be interesting how they shuffle again. The draft's coming up, and you can't. This division cannot be the division full time. Like it just can't be. It's ridiculous. Like we're talking about turning one of these women heel, and it's like they already have the Bailey faction plus Rhea on the heel side. They struggle. I mean, they're going to have to really get going with non-title feuds. By the way, that's saying that Triple H is going to have to really focus on.
Yeah,
because the way they've been doing shit has been ridiculous. So there you go. I don't get nothing but praise for that part of the program. Again, other parts that we'll now get into, but the women's division, big thumbs up. I'm glad to see it emphasized the way it was. All right. The US title stuff was really interesting because they made a clear point of saying that we've been talking about for a while, which was, the fact that Bobby Lashley is basically the de facto world champion for Raw. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Now, doing a video package is like the simplest thing that absolutely had an effect and immediately made sense and framed things the right way. So I guess this first way again, before we get into the matches themselves, Bob, how much did you pop for the United States of America being featured this way on WWE TV?
I did really like the video quite a bit. It adds importance to the title, the mid card, and I thought it was really well done. And they included a bunch of NWA, WCW stuff, which I don't really remember them doing too much in the past with regards to that belt. Yeah. So that's cool that those things are going to exist again. I liked it a lot. It was a very well done video package and kind of made everything feel a little bit more important.
Personal question, Bob.
Yep.
Did your hand hover over your heart at any point during this?
I stood up and saluted the entire time.
Wow. Stood up, huh?
Yep.
JBL was the narrator. That makes sense. Monty, here in Great Britain. What did you think, pal? This popped me very much. The imagery of Dusty and shit. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I love the video package. And it definitely was something I wondered about, how Triple H was going to kind of beef up the mid-card, kind of make it mean something, so it wasn't just bit part players. And, we kind of got an indication of what he's going to do with it pretty early on, So I loved it. It genuinely worked in terms of making it feel like the title means something. It was a nice reminder of what that title meant in yesteryears. And it was also kind of an unfortunate reminder of how far the mid-card titles have fallen over the years. So hopefully that is something pretty high on Triple H's priority list, because, a good mid-card it makes a huge difference, especially when you're doing 3-hour shows. So
one thing Triple H was big on as a booker in NXT was like the idea that with today's fan, if you give a guy enough time, he can really protect himself in defeat by just putting a good performance in. Like that was something that happened a lot in NXT. I think you saw with this show that's going to be something he does pretty regularly, where guys kind of gain in defeat in a nice 10 to 15 minute match. Yeah, that isn't generally,
like other bookers,
Well, hold on. Enough about Bruce Pritchard. I don't want to get carried away with this US title situation, because here's why. I love the video, but the matches, I don't want to get carried away, because they have always had these shows, and I'm sure that you guys know what I'm talking about here. It's like Money in the Bank season, or they want to crown a number contender. They'll do 2 multi-man matches, and then another match in the end, the final. And every single time without foul, it's like the matches are good. They're great at multi-man matches. So I don't want to sit here and be like, oh my God, they did a good triple threat match with AJ Styles. Like, come on. That's easy. What I will say is the AJ Ciampa match was fucking awesome. My God. Yeah. That's as good a match as I've seen on Raw in a long time, bro. Seriously, I thought that match was blow away. Now, again, the concept, they've done this a million times. I don't think it's sustainable. Just kind of do matches for the matches' sake. But this night it worked. Bob, what do you think of the triple threats and all that came within them, and then the final itself of AJ Styles and Tommaso Ciampa?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought the finish of the Adrian Ali one was awesome. And that was actually the match that I'm like, well, this one will be fine, but I'm really excited for the other one just because Gable and Ziggler and Ciampa's a hell of a trio. But they were both really good. And yeah, I mean, they. I'm a little surprised they're doing Ciampa and Lashley next week already. I thought they'd kind of let it go a little longer, but it's fine. Because now it kind of will spend the week feeling like a bigger deal, I guess, since they kind of announced it already. But yeah, that was really well done.
There's another reason it has to be there next week, right?
They're in Cleveland. I mean,
it's 100% happening. Like, it's not why are we doing this? It's very obvious.
No, I feel you, but also when Logan Paul comes out, they say like Hollywood by way of Cleveland or whatever too. So that might.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Johnny Gargano. No, I'm messing. Look, in all seriousness, my guess would be that Miz is going to turn on Ciampa after he loses, and Gargano is going to make the save. It could 100% just be Logan Paul. I'm just fucking around. I absolutely think there's a world day in which Triple H looks at the tag division and goes, well, shit, DIY it is. I think that's very, very possible. But time will tell. Monty, what do you think of the US title business here that we got in terms of the matches themselves?
Just kind of to repeat your point about, it isn't, because me and you, we actually thought, and obviously Bob as well, we actually, we have watched Raw lately. So, AJ Styles and seeing these multi-man matches, it isn't exactly it's no shock, and it is stuff that they have done recently. It's nothing new. I think the thing to kind of, I wouldn't say get your hopes up about, but kind of like the indication was the video package.
Yeah, I agree.
And just kind of the presentation of how they'd done that. And like I said, it kind of made it feel like it meant something. And like I said, it was kind of a reminder of what it meant in yesteryears. And yeah, man, the Ciampa, hopefully, there was the Sean Ross Sapp report yesterday about how they want to, like level up Ciampa's presentation and stuff. Obviously, this kind of confirms it. Then it's just like the Cleveland thing next week is, Ciampa getting his first main roster big title match in Cleveland.
Interesting.
Obviously, Logan Paul makes sense in the storyline as well, but come on. And we know, like I was about to say, Triple H, like, he's in his short time in charge, it seems like he's a quick mover. Dakota Kai, Sasha and Naomi. Like, he ain't fucking around, bro. He wants his kids back.
And look, maybe I'm completely wrong, but I think that Gargano is an easier deal than the ones you just mentioned. Because I think he had to compete with someone on Dakota, and I do not think he's had to compete with many people on Johnny. I think Johnny was kind of sitting.
The easiest one was probably out of all of them, but obviously I didn't just mention her there. But yeah, Gargano is probably easier than the ones you just mentioned. Probably.
I think Dakota was, had other things on the table. I think Johnny's kind of just been chilling, right? I don't think Tony's been beating his daughter. I could be completely wrong.
Quote?
I don't know.
You see the quote earlier? It was like Triple H and Shawn Michaels are my wrestling dads. Come on, bro.
Look, good for him. I mean, I know everyone hates the Usos now, but I'm all in on Usos versus DIY. I think it'd be fucking good. I'm sorry, I can't help myself.
That's been the latest theme in the group chat. Is me and Hollywood being like, well, no, the Usos are good actually. Well, they're not.
It's bad, bro. It's bad.
We have to deal with people telling us that the Usos are mean and the bad, and it's like, bro, come on, man.
I think they're like.
Good.
I think
they have the misses. They do have the misses, but they are good overall as well. So
I don't know. It's a weird one for me because I do think they're obviously not as good as they were. I think Jimmy's clearly lost a step, which is fine. He tore his ACL, but it does feel like people are waiting. Waiting to attack. It's pretty wild to watch. I mean, I watched SummerSlam the next morning. I logged on and every tweet I saw was "These fucking Usos suck," and I was like, Jesus. It was a little much for me. I don't know. I wasn't ready for it.
It was a nice match. It just wasn't.
It was fine, yeah.
Especially when the match on the last pay-per-view was so critically acclaimed.
It was clearly not supposed to be a show stealer either. That's the thing. Like when you're in WWE, your match is supposed to be at a certain level. Like the example, I talk to shoot about this. Like a lot of the Revivals pay-per-view matches in WWE were like that, where you just get like 12 minutes and you have to just do a match. You're not sent out to steal the show. You're sent out there to just keep the thing moving. And that's what they ultimately did. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was fine. I don't think they were trying to have a great match. I don't think they were really encouraged to in that particular case, which is again dumb in some ways, but it is what it is. We will talk more about the Usos here momentarily. I would like to just say AJ Styles I'm decided he's good.
I would agree.
So I think he's pretty good. I actually think
yeah.
I'm going to go crazy here. Ready? He may have got himself out of the non-Bryan Danielson division, which I'm not sure is possible because it is literally called the non-Bryan Danielson division, which by fact he is in that division because he's not Bryan Danielson. But if anyone else belongs in the league of like the last 20 years of wrestlers, I feel like it's AJ Styles.
I would agree.
What do you think?
AJ
in the US,
Styles,
at least.
AJ Styles for me is quite a. He's quite special in my fandom in the sense of like when I was younger, I was obviously pretty much like most kids at that time. I was only really exposed to WWE and coming through stuff like that. So like when I first discovered Impact, like in the early 2000s and mid 2000s, and like AJ Styles was just going fucking crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like AJ Styles, AJ Styles was like the first wrestler to like AJ or Ray were like the first wrestlers to like, as a kid, like blow my mind with like what they were doing in the ring. Yeah. Because like when I was a kid, I wasn't like, oh, he throws good punches and that's a 4-star. Like you're just popping, like you're a kid, you know what I mean? But in terms of just being, excuse the pun, but like phenomenal, AJ genuinely is what literally like one of the first wrestlers to ever blow me away. And to think back that. How long ago that was, and all the stuff he's done. Like he's been successful all over the world. He's had top guy runs everywhere. He came to WWE so established that they had to make him a top guy, otherwise it would have been like the most ridiculous thing ever. And even up until last night, he's still killing it. Like he's just, like you said, he's genuinely in that like top level of the best of this generation. So he's the man. He's AJ Styles, man.
Yeah, right. All that to say that you agree he's good. It's crazy. I'm fucking with you, but I agree with what you said. I mean, he was like an incredible meathead wrestler in the mid 2000s, where he would just do like ridiculous athletic shit, like just throw people up in the air and fucking do like big dives and shit. And then like he very quickly became just like this fabulous traditional worker who's like a great seller and shit. He's incredible. Great wrestler. So, Bob, anything on AJ Styles? We seem to think he's good. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's very good. He was particularly good last night. He seems fired up again.
I think everyone's fired up, bro. I really do. I think most people on the show appear, other than like, who's been off? Like Omos has not been on, right?
Yeah, he was on main event.
Yeah, he's fucked.
Everyone else seems excited. Theory had like a family, like his uncle died or something like that. So. He had some unfortunate news and wasn't around, so you'd probably assume it was because of that, So, yeah, Theory wasn't on the show. Omos obviously wasn't on the show.
Was he on last week?
I don't think so.
Omos.
Yeah, I don't think he was.
He may have been.
No, he wasn't.
There was no Carmella. There was no.
Bro, Ezekiel was on main event.
Yeah, he faced Omos.
Bro, Triple H got in and said, "Fuck this! What are we doing with Ezekiel? Enough is enough."
Well, that was always going to struggle.
So,
yeah, I know it worked. He just pops me. What did you say, Bob? Sorry.
Ezekiel was always going to struggle a little bit after the Kevin Owens stuff, anyway, because there's no natural kind of foil for him.
It just pops me that like, as much as we're all doing guesswork and none of us actually know anything. If you'd have told us Triple H was getting the book and like someone would fall off TV, I would have all said Omos, Ezekiel, and the 24/7 stuff, and all three of them have just vanished. Respect, right? Big respect. So anyway, that's the AJ Styles stuff. We've decided he's good. Also, shout out some stuff earlier. We had actually like a really strong showing, and the other guys really spotlighted him well. So I was glad to see that because he's had a rough go of it since coming back. We kind of covered that closely. I remember on Wrestle Careers Monty, and we were both alarmed immediately, and we're right to be, but he may have a second shot here, a third shot, whatever the fuck. Hangman mentioned this on a Wrestle Careers podcast. This is how far the changes go. He's like, Triple H will not push Akira Tozawa, because honestly at this point I get it. But like there is definitely a real chance that he's just like a wrestler again, as Chuck mentions, and the fact that we have to like long for these things is really an indictment of where we've been, but we have to do that. Here's what it is. Quick shout out. Fuse Nova has resubscribed with Prime. They've been subscribed for 2 months. Thank you very much, pal. We appreciate you greatly. Keep grinning. All right. The Edge is back. He cut a good promo. What the fuck? Edge cut a good promo too. He's like 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the thing. Like, he kept it short and kind of explained why he was an asshole for the past couple months, and that's all you needed to do, man. And any time before last week, that would have taken 12 minutes.
The only way this would have been better is he'd have come out and just been like, "I'm washed," and just left the ring and just let them kind of figure it out themselves. Monty, did you pop huge at the fact this promo didn't go 10 minutes? Because I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Before he came out, I was like, "Oh God, here we go!" It's 15-minute Edge monologue coming, and I was saying like Edge, especially on his most recent run, like Edge can somehow pull off these 12-minute promos without really saying anything.
Yeah.
So to see him just come out, fired up, 2 minutes, keep it short, straight to the point, get his message across, and fuck off was great stuff.
It was very good.
Well, great is a bit far, but
it was a nice promo. I mean, it popped me tremendously that he on the pay-per-view he came out of fire, and he was all spooky and mysterious, and then on Raw he was just Edge. It was fine. I don't need it to be spooky. It just popped me that he came out of flames.
Yeah. Stadium shows, brother.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense. All right, there you go. Good job, Edge. I thought the show closed a little bit flat. Do we all agree Raw could have had a bit more of a punch at the end there with the? Well, it was okay, but it weren't really anything. In fact, Monty, what do you think of the kind of closing with the Mysterios and Rhea out there and all that good stuff?
It was a good match and everything, but it was just after everything we just seen, it did kind of feel a bit flat, and it kind of felt misplaced in the show.
Yeah, I thought
so. But overall, there wasn't really any low points throughout the show, so it was I don't know where quite I would have put it.
I think the women, the brawl probably could have closed the show.
Yeah.
But
then you're ending with a DQ though, and I mean it's fine, but
yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's I do agree. Maybe you go with AJ and Ciampa. Maybe. Has that got enough punch for a main event? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. It was fine. It wasn't like a catastrophe or anything. It was a nice match.
Yeah,
it was just, and the Rhea stuff people like. Right, Bob? Do you like the Rhea stuff?
It's fine. It's not the way that I would use her, but, just going along with it for now. And,
Bob's critique usage here on the Fed Dead Redemption. How would you use her then, Bobby?
I'd probably involve her in all the other kind of top women stuff that they're doing right now, but
fair. I thought you were going to say you would have her strangle someone else. Never mind. So Raw was a good show. We all agree on that. Again, I mean, Bobby, I know you were higher than me. You thought it was one of the great shows in the history of Earth, which I thought was a little bit dramatic. You comparing it to concerts and festivals on Twitter, which I thought was a bit weird, but it was a good time, right, Bob?
Yeah, it's one of the better 3-hour Raws. Everything felt like it had a purpose, and it was actually paced really well. And I'm sure the no commercial in the first hour helped. Do I think it's going to be like that every week consistently? Probably not, but it's going to be closer to that than it has been the past, 3 or 4 years. So
there you go. Bobby's fired up. He's ready to go. Monty, are you fired up? What do you think of Raw overall before we move on to other topics here?
It was a good show, but what stood out to me was the lack of low points throughout the show. I've heard all three of us say at least some point over the past few months, Raw was a decent show, but this wrestle crap happened, or this 24/7 thing happened, or do you know what I mean? There'll be a sprinkle of low points throughout the show, whereas I honestly genuinely felt like this show had 0 low points in terms of it had the lowest points of the show, but nothing descended into wrestle crap or shitty TV or anything like that. So for 3 hours of wrestling television, you kind of got to tip your hat to that. And I thought it was a really solid start to the Triple H Raw era, whatever you want to call it.
Joe, the Grin Grep announcement did not happen. We will circle back to that. Someone remind me to do that, please. There's some stuff to handle. All right, let's put together a clash of what the fuck's it called? Clash of the. It's not Clash of the Champions. That's WCW. Clash at the Castle.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. I wrote Clash of Champions. That's not what this is at all. That's a very different thing. It should be that. Why don't they call it that? Anyway,
Wales.
Clash of the Castle. Yeah, piece of shit, Wales. We're a month away. I'm just kidding. We have some Welsh grinners. Sorry to hear that. Clash of the Castle is a month away. Hey, folks, it's a joke. Clash of the Castle is a month away. It's a stadium show. And we know, what do we know so far? Roman and Drew.
Mm-hmm.
Are we penciling in the trios?
I think so.
I don't know. They might do.
Oh, that was uncertain.
They might do Bailey versus Bianca.
100% could happen, yeah.
They might just do it.
Do you think they're going to, we keep talking about Sasha and Naomi, not on this show, generally. Is there a chance that they look at this as a way to, juice up the tag titles? So they're going to come back, get the belts, and then it'll be Asuka, Alexa, Dakota and Io, whoever else they can cobble together.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe where we're going instead. That could be a thing, right? Because
definitely.
Let's say they come back on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing on SmackDown? If it's not just getting the belts back.
Yeah, that's the thing, because they're not going to go after Liv, I don't think, because they're going to come back as faces. So yeah, I was actually thinking about the tag thing earlier. You have those teams you mentioned, plus Zelina and Carmella still, plus Nikki and Doudrop. It's a solid start to a division. I mean, you call up Casey and Caden too if you want, and that's 6 teams, which might be the most they've ever had in that division.
I don't know, Monty. What do you think? Is there a chance we're going in that direction? All of this is really just about getting those tag titles back and moving in the right direction. What are you in?
I don't know, man. The women's tag titles on the main roster is a really weird one because the potential is there to pair people up and make the teams and do a couple of call-ups like Bob said.
Rob's absolutely the correct term. We just call him Bob because we're pieces of
Rob,
shit. Carry
Bob.
on.
Robbo.
Bobby Two Shoes.
All the above.
Bobby Bullets.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where I think I am on this. To be honest,
Cowboy Bebop.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's not worry. I don't know either. All right. Well, can we pencil in Lady Trios out of just fear, or should we? What do we think? Because Bob was bullish on it, Monty. You and I are very unsure. But Bob's confidence is telling we should go with let's pencil in the trios match. Not War Games. We're saving that. All right. What else is going to be on this show? Bob, what else you got on your format there?
Probably Shinsuke and Gunther, you would imagine.
My God, is that a thing?
Apparently.
Yeah, they set it up a couple weeks ago.
That's a good one for the castle. All right. Bob's still going to be the US champ, right?
Yes.
Who's he going to wrestle? Who we got for Bob?
Styles.
Monty,
what do you think? But
that's fine. It's the US title.
Yeah.
Bobby and AJ.
Yeah.
Monty, do you co-sign this? You're not unsure? Would you always put the Miz in?
Yeah, that's honestly I'm worried about what they do with the Miz.
When is Owens back?
Owens is back, isn't he? Owens came back. He just didn't have a match on the pay-per-view.
He wasn't there last night though. Did he wrestle on TV last week?
No, he did come back after a while, didn't he? And he'd done the KO show a couple of times. And,
he might have been cleared though.
He was part of the SummerSlam build. It's just that he wasn't building to anything himself, So, as far as I'm aware, he's not injured again or anything like that. So, Kevin's, as far as I'm aware, like I said, he's back. It's just that he wasn't used last night or whatever it was. Could have been anything. So who knows?
I reckon most likely Bobby will do a multi-man with Owens, AJ, those dudes. That's my actual guess. Because it's a stadium show, And they try to get the belt over and you can put a bunch of top guys in it. You know the deal. All right. What's the SmackDown Women's title going to be doing in Cardiff? lads?
Liv and Charlotte.
Monty, Liv and Charlotte?
No, it's probably Liv and Shayna, but I don't. That's gonna be a tough one.
On the stadium?
Yeah, that's the thing.
When is the Queen back?
Oh,
Do we have any scoop?
Thought
oh,
kind of over the weekend, but
Maybe Friday.
Oh, obviously we know she only left in the first place to get married, and Andrade's been back fucking for a minute now. So it's like,
Yeah, wow.
um,
He came back in the Battle Royal with it. I hated, remember?
oh yeah,
bro,
That was 2 months ago.
the battle royal that sparked the Hollywood rant.
That was, it's tough. It's very difficult. That's a tough night for all involved. That was 2 months ago, bro. So I don't know. I mean, I think she'll be back probably like soon, Friday, right? Surely SummerSlam's gone now. Ronda's not going to be around. Like, when else is she coming back? Unless she's just not. Maybe she just said, "I'm calling it. I don't want to come back." I don't know. But
yeah. But do you really want her to come back and go right for the title?
well, because I think Liv should just beat her.
Fair.
I don't know what there is left for her to be the champion. Just.
It's
She
just
needs to have
getting to
like
that. It's just literally getting to that 16 to pop herself and probably just pop whoever it pops in the back at the WWE.
and leave. Yeah.
I've always said it would be absolutely hilarious if Charlotte left to go to another promotion. Obviously, AEW would be the one that you'd assume, because of all the history they've tried to. I wouldn't say authentically, but all the history they've tried to inflate her with, and all the effort and legacy they've tried to be, and she just leaves. That would just be hilarious.
There was a tweet. Someone tweeted. This isn't a knock on them because it's a friend of mine. But they tweeted, Charlotte was representing this video package as the biggest star in the company, and underneath the tweet, well, she is. It's like, yeah, I guess if your metrics are just title wins and not, t-shirts, tickets.
She is a big
TV.
name. It's just that she's not
No one cares in the world. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
No one cares, bro. No one cares.
I mean, hold
seriously.
Hold on.
Until I brought it up to you now.
I care, Joe Hulbert.
It's fine, but until I brought it up to you now, who has been asking the question, where is Charlotte? Does anyone care? Seriously. It's just you. It's not a thing, bro. I'm serious. I'm not saying she's bad. What I'm saying is, no one actually cares deep down. Not no one, obviously, I'm being hyperbolic. You care. But, real people, Folks filling the stands, Monty, they don't care. It's just when she comes out, they react, they say woo, and they do all the thing, but they just ain't.
It's not the same as the other women that the WWE have got. No, WWE's women have got the notorious connection with. You don't see that many stan pages for Charlotte Flair.
Here's 100%
get what you're saying.
This is how you know it's different, right? I have been slandering Charlotte Flair on podcasts for 2 years, and I've literally had no pushback on that whatsoever. I said I didn't like the Lily doll and got 10 accounts kicking the shit out of me for a week. It's a different world, brother. It's very, very different. So there you go. And that, look, don't have an answer right. The SmackDown Women's Division is bad enough that you may miss her. I don't. But what's our match anyway? Liv Charlotte or Liv Shayna? Let's get a vote here. Bobby, what are you taking?
Probably Liv Charlotte.
Monty? This is for the Clash, remember. We've got a month.
Honestly, don't know, because Shayna done that tweet, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
What tweet?
What did it tweet? It was how everyone was tweeting words like opportunity and shit like that. Shayna tweeted something. I can't remember exactly what it was.
It was something right after the Ronda match where it kind of felt like she was setting something up.
What did she tweet?
I can pull it up real quick. I don't remember. It was 4 days ago.
Really made a great impression on you two fellas. You can't wait for it. Look at you.
Yeah, because it's all these tweets from talent, even the ones not with WWE. Did you see Jonah's tweet?
Absolutely not. No, what did he tweet?
He tweeted the Batman gif, but he's like that. He tweeted that during SummerSlam.
She said a true champion wouldn't accept a win like that. Ronda Rousey is the rightful champ.
All right, so it's Liv versus Shayna. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Liv and
Then
Shayna it
then
is.
she randomly tweeted, "The greatest week in history. Prepare your blood offerings." So, what the
Yeah.
fuck that means?
Must have heard about the late night grim moving to Thursdays. All right, so we got Liv and Shane. We've got a Bobby multi-man with, I have assumed AJ and Kevin Owens are involved. Shinsuke and Gunter. Control, or Bailey Gunn as you called it, versus Alexa, Asuka and Bianca. The All-Stars, as I'm calling them. And Drew and Roman. Who are we missing here? Who needs to be on the card, Bobby? You got your depth chart in front of you. Who we got?
Probably the Usos, I guess, but they could just defend on SmackDown before they go over there.
I think the Usos will be on. Who the hell they're going to wrestle is the question.
They're building up the Viking Raiders, but they're kind of heels. It feels like Kevin and Sammy's the ultimate kind of end game for that now, but neither one is like available at the moment, and they're on different shows, which doesn't necessarily matter. But
honestly,
if Gargano's coming in, that would be kind of the match. So
I feel like this is a little too soon, but I definitely think that's where they'll go. Monty, what was you going to say? You look very enlightened by something there a moment ago.
Not something I'm excited about. It's just something I remembered that could definitely potentially be on the show. Dolph Ziggler versus Fury. You know, that'll pop whoever it pops, but it does seem like something to build in towards. So
all right, well, there you go. Okay, I'm noting this down. All right, I like this idea. I think this might be it. I think it might be a Sheamus. Even if they're not actual faces, they're basically, I think they'll view Sheamus as being a babyface in Cardiff, which, I mean, not really, but fair.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, speaking of Sheamus, Sheamus and Drew from SmackDown was incredible.
I've heard this. I haven't watched it. I'm going to be honest, this is one thing that's going to be good about the grid moving. Like, SmackDown, I'm not sure what they could do on SmackDown to make me watch that on Saturday, catch up.
Yeah, it's
and when it's on live, I'm like napping and shit. Well, actually, this time I was on the air. That's a complete lie. I was on the air watching David Richards wrestle. Never mind. Anyway, so our card here, we'll stick with this for now. We have 7 matches. I want to come back to this each week, see how far off we are. We've got Drew and Roman, Bailey Gunn versus the All-Stars, Shinsuke and Gunter, Bob, KO, AJ, etc. multi-man, Liv, Shayna, Usos versus Sheamus, Ridge, or Viking Raiders. What do we reckon?
Probably Sheamus and Ridge. I don't think the Viking Raiders are ready yet, and they're heels.
When you say they're not ready, what is that like?
Well, they're doing this like new presentation thing with them, and they kind of squashed a New Day last week, and I guess the next step is the tag titles. But
I guess what I'm getting at, Bob, is if at some point, right, a team peaked in 2014, and 8 years later you're kind of going, well, give them a couple more weeks, they might figure it out. I mean, it seems alarming to me, Bob, is what I guess I'm referring to here.
Well, I agree, but
yeah. They're a good. They're a good team. Their act has been terrible in WWE, is what it is. Yeah. And we have Ziggler and Theory, which is hilarious and probably true. Okay, there you go, folks. That's the clash. We're going to close with this. We're going to produce a WWE depth chart here.
Oh no!
This is going to be Raw and SmackDown both. Bob, I know you have one in front of you, so we're going to lean on you here. But we'll start with the men. The top babyface male in WWE is whom, Bobby?
Either McIntyre or Lashley. I think it's Lashley.
Monty, here you got Drew or Bob, or are we missing one?
I'm going to say Drew.
I think it's Drew. We all agree Bob's too.
Yep.
How fucking crazy is it that the impact?
We're only counting people who fit.
Yes, because Cody.
Is Riddle actually injured?
No.
What is going on?
I genuinely think Riddle's next though, because I agree with you about how over Riddle is, but Bobby is like super protected and shit, man. Like he's like.
Oh, that match is probably going to be on Clash of Castle too. They're probably going to do Riddle and Seth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Who would think I'd forget
Bob
Seth
the Genius?
Bob the Genius. All right, Seth and Riddle's on. By the way, the Montez Ford stuff was good on Raw last night. I forgot to put that in my notes.
You see the promo after?
Excellent. They're really good, man.
Even Angelo as well. Like there was just certain you know, just they were pissed. You know, you can feel it.
Good, man. They're like, there's definitely a big like part of the wrestling fandom, and I'm part of this until like the last couple months where I've actually watched them properly. That has taken them totally for granted as just like a WWE team, and they are a WWE team. Like they're very like shtick and presentation heavy,
Mm-hmm.
but they're fucking good at it, and like they've both got so much personality. Dawkins honestly gets way too much shit. Like he's come a long way. I think he has the best punch in the fucking territory at this point. He can really throw a right hand. I mean, and I mean that as a loving compliment. You know,
Well, they've got
Alexa's
Double J,
very good. Oh well, you don't have a signed photo of him now due to Jay Shell. Are you aware of this?
bro. That was. I retweeted it on the Purist account. It was that like.
Oh, that rules. I want to check the impressions on that and see how many people got mad about it. All right. Okay, so we got Drew, Bobby, and Riddle. Who's up next? What do you reckon, guys?
For male baby faces,
Yeah, indeed. Tough, huh?
I need to get the roster up, bro, because I'm forgetting.
probably Edge, to be honest with you.
Fair. That's
Edge or
definitely
Ray.
fair. I think
can't
Ray
do
gets the
Ray,
shit.
bro.
Yeah, he gets the shit kicked out of him too much.
I could pin Ray if I turned up to Raw early enough.
It's true.
What about AJ Styles?
He hasn't really been featured a ton,
Yeah,
though.
he's not above Edge.
Okay, he's above Ray, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's above Ray.
Edge and AJ is fifth.
Mm-hmm.
Edge.
Listen,
Edge,
bro. Listen, bro. That's the challenge. You know, you're gonna have to do some work on that front if you're a triple pole. That's difficult.
Yeah.
Drew, Bobby, Riddle, Edge, and AJ is kind of nuts if we're being real.
Wait, how do I filter this?
You looking at the roster?
Trying.
You're on
doing a bad job of
Fed.com.
it. I am.
Oh, that fucking rule. He's scrolling through all the images like some sort of mark.
Is
Can't
Kevin
listen.
Owens? Is Kevin Owens is heel still, right?
Yeah, he's heel. Guys, are we missing any baby faces? Because this feels wrong to me. Like I've not really seen AJ do much.
Shinsuke's up there, but like not where he used to be, I don't think.
He's above Ray, maybe. No, he's not. Logan Paul.
Right, let's stop at 5. Jesus, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, they got to build that up a little more.
All right, this is not a comparison show, but I'm genuinely intrigued. What's the AEW one that I sent to you, Monty? Let me find this. Okay, hang on a second. I'll find it. I'll find it. It's because I sent you. I'll find it.
It's probably the only message that you've sent me where you've mentioned Ethan Page. So
That's not true.
if I
The last time I did it for
probably,
AEW active wrestlers,
I've got it. Yeah.
I had Moxley, Hangman, Kingston, Wardlow, Orange Cassidy.
That feels right.
Claudio.
Claudio, yeah, you had Claudio at 5, right?
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, because remember you put them side by side.
Yeah, I thought it was just when the side by side was like or Claudio. I don't know.
No, it was comparing ours, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. I mean, they're both missing because Danielson was injured then and Punk was injured, and as David mentioned, there's Cody and Randy are injured now. So Hangman was at the 2 spot, and if I had Hangman, it was Moxley, Hangman, Kingston were the top 3. Kingston obviously has since. Well, never mind. Top heels in the promotion. Obviously, I believe Roman Reigns at number 1, guys. What do you think?
I would agree.
Yeah.
Oh, I was only looking at Raw. Shit.
Well,
It's okay. He didn't miss anything.
Oh my, yeah.
SmackDown's not a real show. So you guys make up
Kofi.
it happens really. See, I agree with Joseph's right. Even though he loses all the time, Seth's got to be number 2, hasn't he?
Yeah. Seth's a big deal. Everything he's in feels like a big deal. Like he's not like he's in like random jobbing matches on the mid card. You know what I mean? Like he's in big feuds with big stars, and he's putting out. You know, it was Cody Rhodes' first big feud. So you know, obviously he's a big deal to them. It's just, you know, he's been eating a few pins lately, but. You know, I think he should probably eat another one against Riddle, but it's just like you can't, you know, because
it's hard.
Yeah.
So I think he'll win that match.
Yeah, he probably will.
The way they feud, I do agree with you. It kind of feels like he shouldn't. Who's next?
Miz.
Theory. I'm sorry, but like, Theory is, you know, it just is what it is, isn't it?
Hold up.
Theory's
ask again.
Theory's an interesting one, I guess. I mean,
Lads, can I ask again? Who's the third heel on this roster? I'm looking for any answer that will make me happier than the ones you two just offered me, please. I haven't got one. I'm just looking for one.
Ciampa.
I didn't want to do this, boys. I did not
Kevin
want to do
Owens,
this.
obviously Kevin Owens.
It may be a new. Hold on, Kevin Owens. There we go. We can work with that. I was very close to hitting a certain video there. A certain triumphant flag was about to fly. I did not.
What about
go
Finn?
that direction. Oh man, he's a fucking loser on that show, dude. I don't think we can put him on there. Owens is actually probably Owens wrestled Austin at Mania, for fuck's sake. He must be
Hey, main evented
right?
WrestleMania, bro. Like,
Yeah. And then I think it's Theory, which is unfortunate, but
Yeah.
it's what they're doing right now, you know. It's just, I guess, or whatever.
dude, they should just get rid of all the men, in my opinion. My take, my think piece. Theory at 4, and then who we got? Is actually Miz at 5? Like seriously, Sheamus, right?
See, this one, man. I have to flick
I
between the
think
two rosters. Sheamus is quite protected.
People
Kinda.
don't dislike him though.
So,
Miz actually gets heat.
oh no, not the dreaded heat. Seth freaking Rollins is too. They all sing his
Volta.
song.
Well, that's true.
Gunter's up there. He keeps the
Yeah.
share of people. Where's he?
Sami Zayn, obviously, he's a loser, but he's always featured.
Is Gunter above Theory?
No,
think so.
no, he's not.
Is he above
Unfortunately,
He's probably about
probably,
Sheamus.
yeah.
Is he above Miz?
Yes,
Yes.
So he's 5th, right?
Right now, yeah.
that's fair.
All right. So we've got Drew, Bobby, Riddle, Edge, and AJ opposite Roman, Seth,
Corbin.
KO, Theory, and Gunther. He ain't Corbin. Remember that was supposed to be Sammy's match at SummerSlam. Remember. McAfee, you know what I mean? That was think about what's the last thing Corbin did that was like main event vibes for him personally. I mean, he kind of elevated Mag. I like Corbin.
I liked how they've used him, to be honest. Like the
I do
madcap
too.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. After
He's
so
just-
many years of being overexposed, it was, you know,
It's good, yeah. It's good.
Mhm.
yeah, it's good.
No, there's nothing wrong with his place. I just don't think he's in the top 5 right now. Right, let's now move to the women.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
folks. Finally, things get interesting. Top babyface is Bianca, right?
Yes.
Second is now Becky.
Mm-hmm.
She's injured, I guess, so we'll leave her off. Second is Liv.
Yes.
Third is whom?
Either one of Oscar or Alexa, probably. Probably Oscar.
Asuka at 3, Alexa at 4.
Yeah, I'd say Oscar.
Mhm.
I'd say Oscar over Alexa.
Who's the second best babyface on SmackDown? Biggest babyface on SmackDown?
SmackDown's terrible, bro. Like,
Yeah, I can tell.
Shotzi had a win the other day.
filth.
Well, this is unfortunate. Now, we decided this is bad now too. What are we doing here? Is this supposed to be some sort of backfire? What's going on?
You said SmackDown, bro. That's when it gets dicey.
But who's next on Raw though? Like Dana?
What are we doing?
No.
Baby faces. Bianca, Becky.
'Cause remember, Becky, we can't list.
Obviously,
Second
Alexa. So the All Stars.
Liv, and then who else?
Isn't Ronda still technically a babyface?
I'm going to list her as a heel.
I'm sure that's something I read earlier, but apparently she's still a babyface, which is hilarious.
What, like on their internal listing?
Mm-hmm.
I feared they were going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to list her as a heel because I can't deal with that sort of trauma right now. Raquel
Charlotte Flair going to
Rodriguez.
come back as a face.
It's probably Raquel.
Yeah, it probably is.
Well, can't win them all, I suppose.
Well, Becky got injured. I'll let it slide.
That's true, yeah. All right, heels. Is Bailey immediately back in at the 1 seed?
Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
Easy.
I guess if Ronda's a heel, she's 1 actually, isn't she?
No.
All right. Fair enough. That's done. Bailey.
Ronda don't have shows built around her anymore on this run. Like,
Yeah, well, she sucks.
Bailey gone.
Ronda at 2. Right?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Rhea at 3.
Yep.
And then is it just the faction cohorts, or am I forgetting someone?
Carmella has had a few title matches, but obviously she just loses them.
Natty's in the picture, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously Natty's always she's same as Carmella really, but obviously she's kind of more the locker room vet or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just kind of featured all the time. Always doing something at least remotely interesting, I guess. But yeah, they do lose a lot, but yeah, featured heavily.
It's interesting, man. Like you look at this lineup, and it's like
Oh,
who's
Lacey
over?
Evans.
Yeah, is she over like Dakota?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to say because obviously we don't know what Triple H is going to do with her, but like Vince was clearly like, trying to do something with her. So
I kind of think, like, I kind of want to just list the faction just because, like, the way they were used last night, bro. I think they're really going to build the show around them. I'm not sure Lacey's going to be. Yeah, I'm not sure Lacey's going to be used that way moving forward. So let's just do Bailey, Ronda, Rhea, Io, and Dakota for now. Okay. When you look at this, you look at it through this lens, it becomes like even more apparent how much of a pop it will be for them if they actually do get Sasha and Naomi back as we expect.
Yeah.
Ain't quite as deep as you can convince yourself. Raw is so deep that you forget how thin the rest is, frankly. Okay, so that was one thing. Like the final segment here, you get the pencil, Bobby, and you get 4 call-ups from NXT 2.0. You got the pencil, you got a brand, you got whatever your roster is. You're going to pick your 4 folks here. Which direction are you going to go, mate?
Do I have to worry about like leaving the brand with pieces
Absolutely.
still? Okay. No. Braun, Carmelo, and the Creeds.
There you go, Braun, Carmelo, and the Creeds. Monty, which way would you go there, pal?
Braun, Santos.
That's a good one too.
I think I'll just bring up Legado del Fantasma, honestly.
Yeah.
Obviously, they are part of the D'Angelo family right now. Hopefully, they can sort out that war between the families, But Legado del Fantasma as a whole package, to be honest. Like even Elektra, like keep her out the ring for now at least, and it's just she's a good part of the aesthetic.
For sure, they look super cool.
Not to like reduce her to just that, but like it just like she's a great part of that aesthetic. Like it does mean something.
They look fucking cool, man. That's actually your 4 is Braun, and we'll count again. We'll bless Lecturer. She's kind of a throw in here, but your 4 would be, Escobar, Wild, and whatever his name is now. What's he called? Mendoza.
El Toro.
Yeah, El Toro. That's your 4, right? I mean, where will we go?
Tiffany Stratton, genuinely. Anyone who watches any of the Purist stuff or stuff that I've done with Joe knows that I'm pretty big on Tiff Stratton. That pops me as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of Legado del Fantasma. I think it's way overdue.
If I was in charge and I could actually have some control over development, I would be happy to wait on Tiffany for a bit, I just let it develop a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Who else in the women's division is like
Zoe
really?
Stark.
Who else is in the women's division that you could call up?
Honestly, that everyone else is in that Tiffany Stratton thing. At least Zoe Stark is like, she's not, she's not what pops me, especially like in ring and stuff. But it's just like she's a wrestler,
I get you. Yeah.
It's really thin down there. Obviously, Cora is still coming along.
Kaylee Ray's a good one in the chat.
Honestly, like Roxanne Perez is like that good, but if they debuted her on Friday, like I'd pop.
Kaylee Ray is a good one.
Yeah, definitely.
I haven't seen a ton of Ray, but I hear great things. I always have.
She's good.
As far as Casey and Caden, like they're the kind of pieces you like bring up if you need a little bit of depth. Like I ain't really pushing them, but
yeah. Well, if they're going to bring the tag belts back, I think they could fit in very nicely there.
Well, look, I mean, I just said Raw's 4th top babyface is like Dana Brooke, so
yeah. Roxy, Roxy might legit be ready already. I think she is. Like, that's what I mean. Like, she's like frighteningly good. Like,
Yeah, she's tremendous. She's an incredible piece, honestly. If you were just doing like wrestlers you would build a promotion around, she's actually very high on the list because just for her age, she's ridiculous. All right, there you go, folks. A little bit of a kind of big picture, Fed chat. We've got some really fun times ahead.
Imagine. Bring up Andrew the Giant's last comment.
Michael Samura, yeah.
Could you imagine? That would be like Triple H. Like...
popping himself. What if she's in War Games?
It'd be awesome.
That would be incredible, wouldn't it? Imagine.
Yeah. He's almost too good to like, think it's possible of happening. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, man. Like I woke up, it's 3 a.m. and I went on Twitter and I saw like people being like, holy shit, about Brawl. And I saw a gif of Alexa and Dakota punching each other in the face, and then backup Hangman tweeted War Games. And I like read it like 4 times and was like, my God, the content I could produce. Like that graphic, like a graphic with Alexa Bliss plus War Games sounds like something I could like legitimately get weeks out of,
Yeah.
I immediately called myself. I was like, if it happens, I'm doing a 24-hour stream. Yeah, these are the games we play.
Honestly, it's been a weird past few days for me in terms of like, I always knew I was big on women's wrestling, but like to see something actually kind of like get me fired up and kind of give me like hope for the future, if that makes sense. It's made me feel like maybe I'm just a women's wrestling guy. Like that's, you get those guys like that's their thing.
It's good shit, bro. Like I genuinely like one sentiment I like actually want to kind of just reference here is it really did make me happy when I logged on and saw it's like people were so optimistic and hopeful about the show. And that does pop me because we've lost that. And if you're not into it, you're not into it, that's fine. But it is fucking cool that people like seem actually excited again. So there's that. I have an announcement to make.
Oh no.
And this is really unfortunate, but it's what we have to do. In response to constant complaints, allegations of bias, direct and angry shots at our own audience, Bob O'Neill will not be paid for the rest of 2022. However, that is not the announcement. The announcement is that due to the fact that our own audience that was being slandered by Bob somehow agreed with him, they have now lost the ability to vote. Indeed, moving forward, the Grin Grapple will be decided live on the air. Never again will you see a poll on our Late Night Grin Twitter account. Never again will you be granted the opportunity to vote between Stan Hansen and Mickey James, which is a privilege I gave all of you for no reason other than the kindness of my heart. And if you want to blame someone, you blame that piece of shit up there with his novelty cowboy hat sitting alongside him.
Topaz.
Right? And please remember, if someone blames you, the viewer, do not agree with them. Because now I agree with Bob, you do not deserve your vote. I'm taking it away. Bob, your response to this news?
I mean, I think it's a little unfair. I think the people should have a right to vote.
Hold on. Your take was that they were voting boring. They weren't picking interest enough wrestlers. They were ruining the show. You hated the show. You were mad about it. You said you were dreading the show. You think it sucks. And now you're going to take the people's side?
Well, they took my side too, I got to stand up for them.
But you were burying them.
Well, I just think they could, branch out a little bit instead of picking.
It's Roman Reigns.
Listen, there's something to that, Monty. There really is. Did you see that Oracle said that he was fired up to do that? He said he was fired up.
He fucking rules, well. I really popped myself with that tweet that I sent him when he was at SummerSlam. The autograph one. He was like...
He's incredible, isn't he?
Yeah.
What an artist. There's now look at this. This is what I'm talking about, okay? Look at this. Bobby's fighting for our rights. He actively resented the wrestlers that you voted for.
Well, not everyone voted for Stan.
You popped me out like, I know to this audience it's like the typical answer, but like Stan Hansen being the one where Bob's like, oh fuck.
No. Like, in what world is Stan Hansen more discussed in 2022 than Kofi Kingston and Mickey James?
Hold on. It was unfair of me to attack Stan Hansen like that because it's all carryover from last month when they voted for Brett instead of the other three, interests.
Yeah, that was probably time to make his
stand. But I was on vacation for the last 2 weeks of the month, so...
You didn't even make that booking. You no-showed.
I sent a video.
I forgot about that. Hang on, do we still have that? Do we still have that fucking video that ruled? Here it is. Here it is.
Hey, Joe, Oracle, Alex, everyone, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. Sorry I couldn't be there tonight to discuss Bret Hart on this month's Green Grappler. Unfortunately, the people voted for the blandest of the options. We had some exciting options on the poll, and, Bret's fine, but, enjoying my vacation so far. Looking forward to getting back on here with you guys next month, and hopefully should be around next week for some SummerSlam stuff. So, have a good show, guys.
You was looking forward to it then, Bob?
I was.
Look how things have changed. Now you've ruined the whole show for everyone.
It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to talking about Stan Hansen. I'm looking forward to talking about Arn Anderson next month when he wins the poll.
No, there's no poll. I'm going to read at the end of the next show. I'm going to read the candidates. You, the contrarian Alex, and the Oracle of Wrestling are going to vote. If it is tied, I will have deciding vote. It should not be tied. You should not pick 3 different wrestlers between the 3 of you. And then they can resent you the way you once resented them. I hope everyone learns from this. Do not support Bob when he protests the content he is part of. He also made jokes about his pay early, which I must say I thought was very poor choice on his part. But anyway, enough about the
controversial.
Very controversial. All right. Now, look at this shit. Look at this shit. Who the fuck needs to talk about wrestlers that wrestled in the last 20 years? We talk about them every week. I just talked about Austin Theory on this show. Who could possibly care about these wrestlers, The Oracle of Wrestling reviews fucking Dynamite so that once a month we can talk about a good wrestler, and we can't even give him that anymore. Do you see this, Monty?
Well...
Yeah, fair. It's fair, right? It's terrible. I mean, the Oracle of Wrestling, he's so excited about these things, and Bob's trying to take them away from him. It's horseshit. Not even talk about Alex. I mean, Alex hasn't liked a wrestling match since 1999.
Well, that's true.
They want him to come on and talk about Mickey James,
Did he watch Ric Flair?
No. Actually, he did. Yes, he did. He's boxed me. Yes, he did. Have some respect, please, Tope. And if he didn't, that would be no issue because I like the arts.
Did you watch? Did you watch Ric Flair, Bobby?
No.
Aww.
I still might at some point, but yeah, I didn't watch it live.
You've kind of.
This is horseshit.
What a night, What a night. There's certain images imprinted in my brain that will never leave for better or worse. Ric Flair's trembling hand definitely being one of them.
That was very scary. Yeah, that was tough.
For Undertaker is another one. Him getting a hot tag and just crawling over to the other side of the ring to do a pin.
The other hot tag was worse, where he just didn't wait for the tag and just threw like a load of shitty chops and kind of fell down.
Is that the one when Jay came off the top rope and Ric Flair tried to chop him down and he didn't even connect?
Yeah. It was tough. Folks, LateNightGrinShop.com. You can get a new shirt. We have a new shirt, Roots of Fight style shirt. It says Late Night Grin, punching above our weight since 2021, which is very funny because 2021 was last year. We are famously current. Speaking of such, tune in for Green Grappler Stan Hansen later this month. Monty, any final thoughts, plugs, promotions, so on and so forth?
Nothing too special, really. Just the usual stuff. WrestlePurist.com, at WrestlePurist on Twitter, WrestlePurist on YouTube. And Boy Late Night Grim match.
Many are saying.
Fair.
Oh dear, some of the stuff I see on the internet. Bob, Blows Promotions. Any final stand on what we just learnt there a moment ago?
No, the Late Night Grin is on Thursday starting this week. Do not watch it Friday after. Well, again, you can watch it Friday after Rampage if you want, but you will not have the live element. That's Thursday evenings now at 9 p.m. Central or Eastern, not Central. But yeah, join us for that. LateNightGrin.com.
Bob, explaining that if you don't watch the show live, you miss the live element is fucking incredible. Like, the idea that there's, a middle part there that needs, stressing, rules. Every time you do it, pops me. Remember the bit you used to do, Bob, where you'd say, if you show up at that time, we won't be there?
Yeah.
Show's at 6 this week. If you get there at 11, we won't be there.
Shops closed, brother.
Oh, folks, I want to be clear because I know people get mad sometimes and very uncomfortable with the on-screen dynamics of the Late Night Grin. A lot of the stuff we do on here is us having fun. I don't like Bob, but I'm not mad about the Grin Grata thing. I'm just texting Monty about it every minute about how mad I am about it. Right, Monty? I'm not mad about it. I would never be mad.
You was leaving me messages today starting from 7:51 a.m.
Yes, voicemails.
Yeah.
Sending him just gifs of lariats and telling Oracle that we need to kick the shit out of Bob, There's a lot. In all seriousness, though, we are going to play around with the voting format. I want to give the guys a chance to vote, and if they have a consensus pick, we'll try and go with that. Because I don't want, he's having a horrible time doing the show, right, Bob? So
no, again, it's funny because
listen, you're having a horrible time. I don't want to put you through it.
It's true. I'm miserable every month.
You just you text me oh, I've got to watch another Stan Hansen match.
Should do the contributors gimmick that we do on WrestlePurist.
That always goes well.
You just get I don't know. You get Tope, Meech, Andrew. He's confirmed. What's that piece of shit confirmed shoot doing in the chat? Probably being racist.
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to adjust to the system. The pieces around me. Bob has demanded that people not get a vote, and that's what I'm doing. So here's what it is. Right, folks. This has been Fed Dead Redemption. Everyone, please go to WrestlePurist.com. Support Monty and my many pals over there. LateNightGrin.com, just $1. Gets you signed up and gets you access to everything.
No idea.
Gets you access to everything. Follow Bob at Cowboy Bebob on Twitter. At Montel WP from Monty. LateNightGrinShop.com for a shirt about us punching above our weight. And what else is going on? Oh, yeah. The Burt is on tomorrow, too. At 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about Dynamite, I guess, or something else. I'm going to review matches from All In, which is a show I've never watched. God bless. Professional wrestling is back. Don't get lost in the quarter hours. Enjoy the overall demo.
Bailey gone forever.
The All-Stars, Bubba. Ride or die. War games. Let's go. Enjoy the outro. God bless.